most companies are still driven by, cost, but I believe, and I read some studies down the line, that the companies that is a more, you can say, conscious and responsible with the users' data and with their trust is the companies in the longer run that will win.
Hello, everyone. Today, I would like to welcome Sune to the podcast. I might be saying that wrong. Apologies. But he is a creator of Deolontological Design. Yeah, we're going to talk tech ethics, a lot of the important stuff that I like to bring up on the podcast. And yeah, I'm excited to dive into it. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Ria. It's nice being here.
Yeah, the first question is usually kind of an icebreaker I like to get started with. So, what's your youngest kind of childhood memory of you getting into tech or tech ethics or something like that? Like it could be your first computer, your first, interaction with technology, really.
I think my first tech involvement at all time had been, the first Nintendo, the SNES, the NES, and Nintendo playing that at home with my parents actually. So
Mhm.
so yeah, I was around, I think 5, 6 years old. So
Oh,
so that was my first interaction with tech of some sort. And I of course also played the Game Boy and some Tetris games. So yeah.
cool. Interesting. Yeah, I think I'm familiar with those, but like obviously I haven't really, yeah. Interesting. So now I guess I'll pivot more into your work and kind of how you got into tech ethics. So obviously you were a creator of this framework and this design, but what originally kind of got you into this field of tech and AI governance ethics?
Yeah, back in university, I studied history and philosophy, and at some point after graduating, I was unemployed for a while. But at some point, I got into the financial sector in a Danish pension fund, where I worked more in, business development to start. And we are undergoing a safe transformation, scale agile transformation in that company. And I was asked to be part of this new release train and art as a product owner, as the business part in a team with developers and architects. And that was my first interaction with the data world. I have never thought that I will be a part of something like that. You can say while I was stuttering, I didn't even knew the data world at all. So it started when I first got this job around 10, 12 years ago. And then it just go hand in hand from there. I've been a product owner, a product manager. And then 4 years ago, I went into Demant, that is a hearing care, healthcare manufacturer that made hearing aids and sell hearing aids. And I became the data and AI strategist from the business side in portfolio.
Mhm.
And you can say that I'm taking these things from humanities, from history and from philosophy, and try to apply those techniques in the data field. Not many people are doing that as of now, but from my perspective, having this human, people-centric mindset when we are talking about data and AI projects is yeah, key to success.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's a really interesting journey that you came through, like first introduction into data and then working through kind of that structure. So, can you, going into more of your work right now, can you describe what exactly it is that, you've created for tech ethics and what exactly the framework is?
Yeah, I somehow try to, capture what do I mean about responsible AI systems. So I came up with this deontological design that is based on a German philosopher called Immanuel Kant. He was all about duty-based ethics. So what you should do and why you should do it. So my framework is containing of 5 pillars. So first of all, you have that is has to be trustworthy. You need to trust the output of what you are getting out of it. It needs to be fair or equitable. So each minority group is also taken into account. So it's not just developing system for the vast majority, but also for the corner cases. And we have explainability that the users should be able to know why a given system is giving that output or why are they flagging something. So it's not a black box solution. And then we have what I call human oversights. You can also call that human in the loop, that we need to have people evaluating the system on an ongoing basis. And the last part is more on the moral part of it. I call it moral continuity, about when you're setting up a system, you need to bake in some values. Are you developing a system solely for profit? Or is it also with human in mind, and you should evaluate the system over time by the value you're setting from the beginning. So it's not just an afterthought or in the start of the system, but it's continuously throughout the system's life cycle.
Got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the idea of continuity throughout with your framework. I'm kind of wondering what are the use cases for this? So this is holding it up against AI agents generally, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, what are your ideas? Like, what's your vision for how this is used?
It's actually more as a set. It's you can say it's not a framework you can just apply, but it's more a set of questions you can ask during development phase, doing when you are doing updates. It's more on helping the developers and the system architects, the designers, to actually be mindful of what they are building. I'm not saying that you should do A to Z on everything each time. Nobody can do that. I know from priorities and all that, that we are also shaped into that we need to deliver something in due time. But it's more a set of questions that you can apply in workshops, in product meetings, in sprint reviews, and all that. So you can get a more conscious decision of what you are doing and what you left out. So it can actually be used in a vast majority of AI systems and also just in system as more broader than just AI system. It can also be when you are building an app, you should be aware that you should build an app that is explainable, that is fair, and that people can trust. So it's as easy on opting in for consent as opting out.
Yeah, I think that's
Mm.
important, especially with privacy terms of, let's say, social media apps getting like longer than 10 pages. It's so hard, like it's so easy to just click agree at that point. Also, another thing you mentioned is that this is part of the development process rather than something that's just kind of a post thought, like after building the whole product. So I think
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty useful. Yeah, is there anything else about this design? Like, how did you exactly come up with this framework?
You could say I've always been a bit of a writer myself. So when I went to university, I wrote poems. I wrote short novels. I always loved the feeling of writing and creating things. And when I'm getting older and older and got kids now, I don't have time for all this more hobby-based writing. So it was a way for me for getting knowledge, reading books, and try to, take those thoughts out of those books and try to write something new for myself. So I took my old hobby of writing, and at some point, this idea of turning Kant, Immanuel Kant, into this AI field came into life. So you
Oh.
can say it was more or less by accident, but yeah, it worked.
Interesting. Yeah. So, what's kind of like looking more broader, your advice, I guess, for young people looking to get into this field of tech ethics or AI ethics and governance?
Yeah, for my sake, you shouldn't be as concerned of your background to coming into this field. I have seen a lot of different backgrounds coming into the field of AI and AI ethics. Rather, you are an engineer, you are a software developer, you are people from humanities studies. It really doesn't matter. It's more your, you can say, passion for actually doing what you feel is right. You can say there is a lot of way of going when we are talking about ethics. It could also be a utilitarian approach where it's about helping the biggest amount of people and not the corner cases. So it's also you need to be very thorough of what you believe in, and it should be based on your own value set, you can say.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty valuable advice. Like looking rather at your background, more at your passion and your actual interest for ethics and moral stuff. Um, yeah, I mean, it's fascinating how you talk about your own background because I know you came, I mean, I guess from more traditional path and then dove into this untraditional path. Yeah, what are your tips and any advice that you have for people trying to pursue that kind of path?
I have always just been open-minded, whenever a project came along and I feel that it could be something interesting, I just jump on board. You can say I have been in multiple really bad projects during my career, but every project down the line have been a stepstone for something greater. You should always look at a project for what it is, but also what you can use it for, building your reputation within the company, within the industry, or something. So it's more just take the chances that it's going to be at you, because they will come.
Yeah, I love it. Take the chances. You mentioned you joined some bad projects, but they were just like part of the journey, stepping stones
Yeah.
to completing. So, I mean, what do you see just looking to the future now? What do you see in the future of, accepting these types of frameworks like the one you created based on Kant and developing responsible tech? Yeah, what would you like to see in the future?
Most companies are still driven by, cost and value creation. They are driven by the bottom line. It needs to be a very positive number. You can say either conversion rate, money gain. But I believe, and I read some studies down the line, that the companies there is a more, you can say, conscious and responsible with the users' data and with their trust, is the companies in the longer run that will win. So my belief is that companies, not naming names, but more unethical companies out there, some social media platforms, will down the line lose momentum. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty unpopular prediction, but yeah, it would be interesting to see like what exactly happens with privacy and like so many other issues embedded into these apps. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to take too much more of your time. So, what are, if any, your final thoughts for the audience? Something you might want to leave the audience with. It could be about your work, advice, or even the future of this field.
yeah. I can also just mention that I am currently working on writing a book about a coined term I developed called promptism, and it's actually about that we cannot, by just looking at an output from a large language model, ChatGPT, Gemini, DeepSeek, just trust the output. We need to be more critical of what we are reading and what we are seeing. In my old days in history classes, we learned about positivism and hermeneutics. And hermeneutics was the ability to question, what am I reading? Who are the author? Who are you as the reader? So you could actually be more critical minded of what you're reading. It's in very important skill to have these days, because when we are just reading output from, let's say, GPT, it sounds good. It was fluent. It was convincing. You can say, should I do this? And it will just say, yeah, you should do it. It's the most incredible idea ever. And you are just happy with the response. But are you really critical about the response? And I really think you should be. So I am working in this field at the moment to try to figure out how to apply old habits I learned back in history studies to this modern age of AI.
Yeah. I mean, of course, let us know when your book comes out and we'll be more than happy to have another discussion. But yeah, it sounds interesting, this concept of like not having full trust in all the things that AI gives us.
Mhm.
I think that's a wonderful way and a wonderful, way of giving the audience a more critical mindset as we end this episode. So yeah, I'd just like to say thank you so much for being here. This was an interesting conversation, and I'm sure the audience learned a lot.
Thank you, Ria.
Thank
Nice
you.
being here.